little window of we got to look at right now,
Right.
what you've done so far. Go ahead and talk about what you guys have done so far in the last 3 games.
Yeah, it was quick. 3 games in 6 days. It was good for us in a lot of ways. I think we learned some things about our team and got exposed to a lot of different things that we had to deal with, both offensively and defensively. Certainly, I thought probably played our best game against Colgate, most complete game, and I thought we played well, especially at the end of that game offensively, to execute and make some really nice plays in the last 6 or 8 minutes to pull away and beat a good team. But it was a lot in a short amount of time, and we needed a couple days off after to just kind of take a deep breath and really kind of relax a little bit, and we've gotten back at it here this week. I think had a couple good days of practice. We've watched a lot of film, initially on ourselves, and starting with Detroit today, and going to hope to play well against a team that's difficult to play against in Detroit on Sunday. They do a lot of different things.
Right, first 3 games, you think your team, as far as from an improvement standpoint, are showing that progression?
Yes and no. In certain areas, we're better than others. We still have a long way to go defensively to be what we need to be. We just have so many new players, and certainly, the games in Italy were great, and we got exposure to a lot of things. But really, to be honest with you, we weren't able to teach a lot from game to game because the games came so quickly. We didn't have as elaborate preps as we do now, and you weren't able to do some things that you normally can do in terms of adjustments and just building good habits. And we're trying to still learn with our team how much we need to simplify versus how much we want to game plan or do some things to try to make things more difficult for our opponent. And with a younger team, and it's not just young, it's just 7 new guys that aren't used to how we do things. There's been some things where there's been slippage, and we got to get better at that.
Can you tell us a little bit about, give us a scouting report on Detroit, what they do well, what you guys need
Yeah,
to win?
Antoine Davis, coach's son, is just incredibly talented. Wow, he can score. He broke Steph Curry's freshman 3-point record. I think he made 132 threes last year. And he's just an offensive machine, and he's almost impossible to guard with one player. He just can get his own shot. His ball handling and shooting, and you can tell he's a kid that's lived in the gym his whole life, and shoots thousands of shots probably every day. So he's extremely dangerous because he can go for 35 on you pretty easily, really, for him. And so when you have to play against a player like that, it makes you very cautious. The other guys on the team are extremely athletic. Attack the basket, rebound the ball. They're a unique style defensively in that against NC State they played 40 minutes of 1-3-1. So I don't know if I've ever seen that, where it's baseline out of bounds, sideline out of bounds, made shot, missed shot, all 1-3-1, and with a couple tweaks within it. And he played a lot of zone last year, some 2-2-1 and 2-3. So, Mike's a very good coach. I've coached against him and watched him coach for a long time. He's very respected in our business for the way he prepares his team. He's won a bunch of games at a bunch of different schools. He gets guys to play hard, and they're always very well set up offensively as well. He has some good ideas, good thoughts that he does to really capitalize on the strengths of his team. And with his son being as good as he is, that's a great place to start. So, we're going to have to athletically be ready to compete. We're going to have to rebound ball. Defensively, we're going to have to do as good a job as we can on his son. We've got to get back, get our defense set, and then we're going to have to get used to playing against a different kind of defense. And handle that.
But you think Trey's finally starting to play with some confidence? Trey Jemison?
He's still working on it. I think some of these games are difficult for really big guys when they're playing against small players. I think that's sometimes that's more difficult than a bigger guy playing against another big guy, where you're kind of comfortable where he is. You can lean on him. He's leaning on you. I just think that Trey right now is probably more comfortable playing against those kinds of players. Having said that, I think he's been practicing well. He hasn't played as much in games. Some of it is just matchup driven. As he'll play when we play teams that are bigger, he'll play a lot in those games because we'll need him and his physicality and his competitive spirit and energy. We got a lot of confidence in him. He's a guy that continues to get better. He's worked really hard in practice, and I think his best basketball is ahead of him.
The Colgate game was just the first part of that game was just a real punch-out kind of game. What does it say about your team? It's third game in so many days, and in the last 5 minutes of that game, they really stepped on the accelerator.
Yeah, I was really proud of our guys for that. It was, again, the third game in 6 days. It was a very good opponent, a team that very likely could be in the NCAA tournament, and I thought we played an outstanding first half. They came out in the second half and punched us in the mouth a little bit. They made a bunch of shots. We made one or two mistakes, and then they made a couple of tough plays, and all of a sudden we're in a dogfight. And I thought our guys really, the last 8 minutes, played well on both ends to pull away. I thought we really executed some things well offensively, which is very encouraging. And then defensively, I thought we were pretty tough and contested a lot of shots, tried to give them a couple different looks, and rebounded the ball well, down the stretch at the end of the game. So I thought it was a really good win, and just as you said, to play that well at the end of the third game in 6 days, I was really proud of our players.
And how important is a game like that early in the season? Does it set the tone for the rest of the season?
Well, I think it's important. I don't know that it sets the tone, but I do think it's important to win games like that where you have to play, well down the stretch. We struggled against Virginia Tech to make shots and make free throws. Defensively, I thought we were pretty good, but we missed a lot of makeable shots, and you have to do that. Against Colgate, we made those plays, and so hopefully that gives us a little bit more confidence moving forward.
Any update on Clyde and how he's doing?
Yeah, he's doing well. I think he's on track. Is it, New Year is my best guess here in the middle of November. Obviously, that could change at any time, but I wouldn't expect him, much before that. But he's doing some individual things now. He's getting up and down the floor a little bit, working really hard in the weight room. Looks good physically. Obviously we've got to begin to progress him to where he's doing more actual basketball things. And defense will be at some point, but he's still a little ways away from that.
About the same timetable for Bear, maybe a couple weeks sooner.
No, I don't. Yeah, I would say, maybe early December would be the best case scenario if things go well all the way. Maybe mid-December, somewhere in that time frame, depending on kind of how the last couple weeks, go in terms of practicing, and he'll start to begin to do a little bit of contact stuff. I would say maybe a little bit here this week, or at least next week. He's done a lot of skill stuff and seems to be doing fine. But he's got to go against some people here for a while, and we'll do that in very, very short spurts initially.
You think Hunter's starting to get into his stride here in the season?
Yeah, I do. I think he had a slow game there the other day, and I thought he played well in the first half of the Colgate game, and shoots the ball really well, good offensive confidence. We just got to kind of find ways to get him better rhythm. He made a couple of mistakes defensively in the game, and you know, I've been on him about that. He's got to continue to fight to do a little bit better there. And as he does, his minutes will grow. But yeah, I'm confident that he's gonna play well for us this year.
Any more questions?
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you all.